In this session, we're going to learn all about how to run traffic from Facebook to your website using Facebook ads. Hey everybody, and welcome to another Facebook Addicts tutorial. I'm your host Ronaldo Edmondson, and in this beginners session, yes, this session is for beginners every Tuesday, intermediate to advanced every Thursday. In this beginners session, we're going to learn all about the traffic objective and how to use Facebook ads to drive traffic to our website. Ladies and gentlemen, learning how to advertise on Facebook is now more important than it's ever been. Why? Pure and simply because Facebook have changed the algorithm. Again, to stop marketers spamming up the place and doing things that are unsavory and uncomfortable for many. So they've changed it up, so now person to person, so profile to profile is favored when you're seeing it down the news feed versus brand to profile. So you're not really going to see content organically from pages, from business pages anymore. You'll mostly see updates from people in your network. That means even when you're seeing branded content, it's usually going to be shared from people in your network. So if you scroll down now, you'll probably see that difference. So gotta learn how Facebook ads works. Now, without further ado, traffic. How does it work? What is it? How do we get sticky with it? How do we understand how to use it best to complement our business and what we're trying to achieve? Let's walk into the screencast mode. Okay guys, first of all, you need to understand what traffic is. Most of you, I'm sure, would understand this even at a basic level, but just in case you don't, traffic equals a visit, okay? So a website visit. This is your website. Traffic is a visit to that website. And there's many forms of traffic, right? So in order for a website to be efficient in any way, you are going to need to know how to run traffic to it. And of course, it needs to fit within your marketing mix because it's just one big piece of your overall marketing puzzle. So you want to run traffic to it, and you're going to run it from many different places. Otherwise, no one's going to see it. Google is one of those places, right? So Google organic. That means anytime a person enters a search term that is related to what you do, and Google have favored you because you've been a good boy or a good girl and you've filled out all your website in a way that Google likes, so Google picks you up and shows you inside of their search engine. That's one traffic stream. Another common traffic stream is Google AdWords, right? So Google AdWords, you pay Google every time somebody clicks on an ad based on a term that you want to be seen for or known for. And that, of course, fluctuates according to how many other people are trying to compete for that same keyword. Then you can argue you have word of mouth, right? So word of mouth, people talk about your business or brand, and people come to your website as a result of that. Then you can say conventional stuff like radio or billboard. People see you on a radio or billboard, they come to your website as a result of that impression or that thing that they see. And of course, then you have Facebook, okay? And social media and many other of the social media channels. And when we're saying Facebook, we're talking about, I'm referring to Facebook's ad properties, right? Or Facebook properties that it owns. Facebook, Instagram, if they own Snapchat tomorrow. When I'm referring to Facebook, I'm talking about the Facebook conglomerate of all the things that, all the properties that they own. So anytime you have a website, you're going to need traffic coming to it. And of course, Facebook is one of those great ways to do it if you understand what you're doing. And how does that work? Well, it works via something called a Facebook newsfeed, or the Facebook newsfeed. You will see down the newsfeed lots of these little funny looking billboards, and that's exactly what they are, and you'll understand why in a moment. And a Facebook ad just has the word sponsored on it. And then you have an image, and you have a little link here. And if you click on that, or you click anywhere in this area here, you will end up on a website or somewhere outside of where the Facebook ecosystem. That's generally how traffic works from Facebook. Sometimes people put posts and they put links in posts. So you have a post on Facebook, it looks exactly the same almost, but you have maybe a link, a hyperlink inside of here, and a person clicks on the link and goes to your website. But more often than not, you're going to see a lot of the ads that are driven towards a website are going to look something like this. Sometimes you have a video in the middle here. Now, of course, in order for you to understand how traffic is best going to work from Facebook, you first of all need to understand how Facebook's model of measuring or model of charging you as an advertiser works. Because my friends, Facebook is not PPC. It's not Google. It's not the same. Okay? And PPC is, of course, pay per click. All right? Facebook is very different to Google. Okay? Why? Because you pay per impression. This is called CPM, which is called cost per million, cost per 1,000 impressions. So you pay per impression, pay per 1,000 impressions. And that's the reason, if you've used Facebook at all, used Facebook ads at any time before, you will find that you are being charged as soon as you spend money. And you're constantly being charged whether an ad is clicked, whether it's seen, or whether it's whatever else, and you just feel like you're burning money. Why? Because you're charged every time your ad is seen by somebody else's profile. Hopefully that makes sense. Once you understand that, you start looking at Facebook very differently, and you start understanding that, just even though I'm being charged when my ad reaches everybody's profile, when I'm running an traffic-based campaign, why am I getting something called a CPC, or a cost per click, or a cost per link click? Well, let me explain. So, in a Facebook ad, whenever you run a website traffic-based campaign, which is now called a traffic campaign, you will find that anytime a person clicks on my ad, I'm going to get a CPC metric, or a cost per click. It's actually called a cost per link click. And that means anytime somebody clicks any of this area here or this button and they end up on my website, it's going to give me a cost. How does Facebook calculate this? Well, Facebook look at it as the number of people who have seen your ad versus the number of people who have clicked your ad. We can give you a metric value, right? That's where the metric value comes from. It's a calculation based on their fundamental charging process combined with the metric that you're looking for. And so as a result, you get a cost per whatever metric. It could be a cost per lead, cost per conversion, cost per click, cost per video view, cost per like. There's many, many types. And of course, the way we run any kind of traffic-based campaign in Facebook is using, of course, the traffic objective. And what is it? Like, why do we bother choose this traffic objective? If you've known Facebook for any length of time, you will know that Facebook is popular for something called the conversion campaign. So why don't we use a conversion campaign when we're still looking for traffic, just like we can do with the traffic objective? It doesn't really make sense. It does, and I'm going to tell you why and how that works in a moment. But the way a traffic objective works and the way the anatomy of an ad works with the traffic objective, you have generally 2 or 3 different types of metrics. One is the CPC. So there's a cost per link click, all right? So cost CPC is applicable to any click that takes a person from Facebook to your website. And this is called a cost per link click. Then you have a cost per button click, all right? So it's cost per button click. I don't think they call it CPB. So cost per button click, that is every time somebody actually clicks on the button. Now don't get confused. Don't think, oh my gosh, only 10 people have clicked on my button and think you're being charged for whatever it's costing you per button click. No, your worry is cost per link click, and your worry actually isn't even cost per link click, is actually something else, which is called cost per landing page view, which I'll go into in the second part of this 2-part video, which I'm sure I've told you about, and if I haven't, I just have, okay? So in the second part of this video, we're gonna go into the metrics and how you read those metrics. The other cost you get is any time a person clicks anywhere else on the ad, right? So if the image is clicked or any of this area is clicked, this is going to be a CPC, cost per link click. If the button is clicked, it's going to be cost per button click. And if anywhere on this ad is clicked, there's an overall aggregated click called a CPC all, right? And this collates, CPC all, and this collates all costs per click of an ad. What relevance does that have? Well, If nobody's clicking on an ad at all, you know people are completely not interested at all. If you find that your cost per click all is, for example, a 1% click-through rate, or it's costing you only 15 cents or 20 cents, but you're finding your cost per link click every time somebody's ending up on your website is costing you $2 or $3, that means people may be clicking, seeing your Facebook page, seeing, oh my gosh, there's nothing here, it's kind of naked, I'm not really interested in anything they do, and as a result, they don't bother coming to your website. So metrics leave clues, and it tells stories. When you understand what's going on with your metrics, you can understand what you need to start adjusting to try and get people towards the goal that you want them to get to. Now, like I mentioned or touched on a moment ago, why choose it? So why choose a traffic objective over let's say you want leads. Why choose a traffic objective over a lead objective? Why a traffic objective over a conversion objective? Very simple. You want the traffic objective to use as a tool to develop context. In addition to that, you use the traffic objective like you use every objective in Facebook. Facebook is a machine learning algorithm. So their information, everything they do, their whole business model is to try and get people to use the platform as long as possible. The more you and me use the platform, the more intel and data Facebook can collect. The more data Facebook can collect, the more behavior insights they can develop. The more behavior insights they develop, the better ad product they can create. So now when they create an ad product and they make an advertising platform for you and me, and they say, what do you want? I can say, I want traffic. Facebook can go into the ecosystem and find all the people who are known to click on links. And so they give you a traffic objective because the people that Facebook is going to find within the parameters that you provide are going to be the people that are most likely to click on links. I hope that convoluted message makes sense, right? So one of the main reasons you're choosing the traffic objective is because you're going after people who are known to be clicking on links. The second reason, and the most important reason, they're probably in tandem, they're probably equally important. The most important reason, of course, is context. So think about it. Who do you buy from? People you know, you like, and you trust, right? And even if you don't like them, you gotta at least have this and probably this, right? So there's lots of brands we don't like, but we trust them and we buy from them because ultimately they deliver on their promise. So if I don't know you, don't like you, don't trust you, I'm not gonna buy from you. And that's this situation here. And what you tend to find is, well, I don't really know who wants to buy what on Facebook. If you really think about it, I have a big hoard of behavior insights and data and interest-based intelligence and all that sort of thing, but I don't actually know who has buying intent, who wants to buy something now, and I want to sell something now. Because I don't know that, I need to create context, i.e. I need to create understanding. I need to speak to people where they're currently at in their mind, or uncover where they're currently at in their mind. And to do that, sometimes I have to use multiple touch points. And that, of course, is a website and Facebook. So I will use a Facebook ad and drive people to a place where I can explain what's going on, which is, of course, a website. So sometimes the Facebook ecosystem itself, it's too busy for me to try and explain things. It may be too busy to write an article or too busy to expand on a video. So I need to take people into a website where we can go a little bit deeper and develop a little bit more context and understanding. When people get that context, we have something called a pixel that we install here. This is something you'll learn about in time. We have a pixel that we put on that website. That pixel captures that visit and then adds people to a list, right? A list of people who have been to your website before. So these are the website visitors. And as a result, now I can run an ad to these people, specifically the people on that list, and run ads that expand or that progress on the context that was already created inside of my previous ad. So now, and we call this retargeting. So traffic, the traffic objective strategically, it's really used to try and drive people to somewhere so they can get some expansion and understanding about what we're doing, and when they get, or who we are, or why we're good. And when they get that expansion and they get that information, we capture them in a list and we retarget them with ads that are going to be relevant for the action that they took. That's why we use the traffic objective. And the traffic objective has a cost to it. Remember what I said a moment ago, guys. So you have CPM, all right? So Facebook is a pay per impressions, it's pay per 1,000 impressions system. That means every time somebody sees an ad of yours and it's a particular objective type, each objective type has its own cost. So a lead ad has a different cost per time a person sees it than a conversion ad. That has a different cost per time a person sees it than a like ad, etc., etc. Okay? So traffic generally can be cheap. All right? It's generally a cheap ad objective. Hence, it allows us to develop context and to build context and understanding inexpensively. And so when we develop context and understanding inexpensively, it will bring down our overall conversion and cost per customer, because on the second interaction or the third interaction, we now can ask for something and we get a lot less resistance and friction for the person to buy. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, rewind what I just said, because it's quite profound, even for myself. And I think you need to understand that the game that we're trying to play is all about context, all about understanding. So hopefully you understand that now. You understand that the traffic objective, you use it because it falls in line with the algorithm and the purpose of what Facebook ads is trying to do. You understand that you use the traffic objective because you're trying to develop context that you can't develop on Facebook. So you need to take them off Facebook to your website to develop that context and understanding. It could be credibility and whatever else it may be. You want to try and create lists and retargeting. You're not going to necessarily, that's something that's going to be a little bit more advanced than the video we're doing right now when we get to custom audiences. But you do it to create lists, so you got people that you can go back to and advertise to. And of course, the reason why we run traffic in the first place, because our website is useless and dead as a piece of our marketing mix, the biggest piece of our marketing mix, if we've got no traffic running to it. Now you understand all that, let's dive in and let's go and build one of these campaigns. I'm going to assume that you've already seen one of my other videos on how to get into your Facebook Ads Manager. If you haven't, I'll try and put a link somewhere around here or below. Maybe not straight away, but eventually, probably at the end of my fingertip, so you can go and do that. Otherwise, you can just quickly YouTube how to go into my Facebook Ads Manager dashboard. Once you're in the dashboard, this is what you should see, something like this, right? You're going to click on Create Campaign. You're going to make sure inside of the campaign objective is traffic. Traffic is the one we're going after. And then the buying type is going to be auction, which is usually by default. We're going to give the campaign a name. So let's use traffic example in this instance. And then we're going to give it an audience name. All right. So in one of the other videos, I will establish and explain the audience and the Facebook structure. So the advertising structure from campaign to ad sets to ads. What's the relationship between them all? For now, you need to just know that ad sets are where you establish your audience, right? That's the people that you're trying to target, the people you're trying to go after. That's what you're actually charged for in Facebook. Every time you're going after a new group or a different group of people, you're being charged. So we're going to give the ad set name. All I want you to do is put the word L1, because this means cold audience, and you'll see the method to the madness over time when you watch some of these videos and you subscribe to this channel. L1, let's go L1, all placement, all gender, and we're going to do it for my business. So we'll do it for Facebook Ads, our company. All gender. I'm going to go after people who like, think of an entrepreneur, Gary Vee. He's the hottest guy right now. Gary Vee. Cool. So I'm going after I'm going to be running these ads in all different placements. So for Instagram, right hand side of the newsfeed, the audience network, the main newsfeed. Make sure the ads are everywhere, as well as all gender, male and female. And I'm going to go for Gary Vaynerchuk, which is really, really broad. I can say location as well. So let's say I'm going to add a location of the UK, being as that's where I'm at right now. It won't be for long. Oh gosh. Let's go UK. Cool. All right, and the last one is I'm just gonna write the ad name. So the ad name is going to be Facebook FB Addicts Hire Us. That can be the subject of my ad. All right, and sorry guys, make sure you're on the Power Editor screen, okay? We don't want you in the Ads Manager screen, pure and simply because the Power Editor is a lot easier and more friendly to use when you get to grips with it. It's faster and it's better. There's more insights and more advanced things you can do with it as you progress through your understanding of Facebook. So make sure in your navigator here you are choosing the Power Editor. Sorry I didn't highlight that before, but hopefully you can quickly catch up if you need to. Once you've done that, you'll see the different relationships here: campaigns, ad sets, ads. We don't need to do anything on our campaign level now. We're just going to go to the ad sets level. We're going to open up this window pane here. And remember, we're trying to keep everything simple right now. There's lots you can do, dynamic ads and dynamic creatives and all these different things. Right now, we're going to keep it absolutely simple. We're going to establish a daily budget. All of these things I'll go into in other videos. What are budgeting? Why do you adjust budget? What's the start date versus the finish date? How do you work with the lifetime? What if it runs out? All of these things, other videos. Daily budget, £10 for now. And I'm going to keep it, don't schedule and then I'm going to let it run perpetually. And I'm going to leave ad scheduling out for now. Now I'm going to choose my location. So I want to choose my location is going to be, let's say I was going after people in London because I knew London was the hotspot for businesses in the UK, which it actually is. London plus 25 miles radius around. All gender, well, like I said before, I think I'll use age. Let's say the age of people who usually would be ready for wanting to do a business, maybe 25, and people who are still quite savvy in tech, maybe 50. There's obviously a lot older people than that, but 25 to 50 is a reasonable range. And what I'm of course getting on the right hand side here is my live audience reach according to the demographics that I'm establishing. And then we move on to the area where Facebook is really known for, which is its targeting. So I'm going to go after people who are entrepreneurs or into entrepreneurship, which is 185 million. Maybe something to do with entrepreneur as well. Another one. Entrepreneur magazine, that's fine. I'm going to put business owner, probably put small business owner. For example, there we go. That tends to be small business owners. No, there we go. Small business owners. That's quite big behavior. And I'm going to say anybody who's of these. I'm going to narrow this down, and this is something I'm going to do on one of the audience tutorials on how to really understand how to work with audiences in Facebook. But I'm going to narrow it down. So I'm going to say to Facebook, only I want to. First of all, use this as a filter. Go after anybody who's any of these, but they also must have liked the page or interacted with Gary Vaynerchuk. All right. And that, as you see there, that number will shrink to 360,000. So I'm going after people who have liked and have the behaviors of small business owners, entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurship, as well as they like Gary Vaynerchuk. So only if they like Gary Vaynerchuk will they see this ad as well as the other things. Connection type, I'm going to leave that out for now. People who like your page, friends of people, exclude people. I'm going to leave that out for now. I'm going to save this audience out as well. Again, we want to just get to how you do the traffic campaign. We want to fly through this as quickly as possible because this is usually the most boring part that everybody tunes out of. So try and keep it as quickly as simple as possible. When we said all placement, that's the same as automatic placements. Of course, we can edit placements. We're not going to do that for now. And then we're going after link clicks, right? So we don't want to go after link clicks. We want to go after something called landing page views. And you're going to see in the next video why that is, all right? I'm going to go after landing page views. And then we're going to close this window out. Now, we go to our ads level. We open up our ad. We're going to choose a page that this is for. So I'm going to run this from my Ronaldo Edmondson page.
I'm going to use this selected page as my Instagram page as well. And now I'm just going to build out my ad. This is very quick and simple when you understand the basics of how we're doing it. So I'm going to go with ad with an image or video. So I'm not going to use multiple images for now, because we'll do that when we get into the ad types and different ad creative types we can use in Facebook. So I'm going to click on select image. Let's use an image that I've used before. So let's use this team picture here. We want a URL to promote, so I'm going to send people to our main homepage, which has a purpose to try and take people from our homepage all the way to different pages. You'll see here an error will probably flag up. This is because with landing page views, we need to make sure the right pixel is selected. We should have that here. Because this account is my dummy account, we don't have that set up, but don't worry about that for now. You shouldn't see that error because your pixel should already be set up, and you watching this video is a progressive video after you would have watched stuff onto how to set up the basics of Facebook. If you haven't, go and find out how to set up your pixel. I should have done a video on that already. Once you've got that done and you've put your URL in, we now want to go and enter our text, and that's the text that's going to build on the promise to try and get people to take an action step for what we want them to do. So we are a special marketing agency that focuses exclusively on Facebook advertising. Let's say that is our hook, or that's what we're essentially saying. We'll probably do something completely different than that, but let's use that one for now. Then I want to give it a heading. My heading is going to be here. Hire experts for your Facebook ads. Okay. Again, just for the sake of this video, this is not an example of my amazing copywriting skills. I think I'm a bit of a better copywriter than this. As you can see now, you can use different languages, which is amazing. So we can use a multiple languages option. Again, something I'll cover in a different video. And then in the news link description, again, most people use their mobile phones. And if you've written a decent enough headline, that's not usually going to be seen. Just in case it is and people are using desktop, I usually create something formal on who we are. Okay, so we have been building campaigns successfully for 10 years. Let's say, imagine that was what we were doing, okay? And then we're going to click learn more, right? Now, think about the hook that we're using here, right? So hire experts for your Facebook ads. I will be running them probably to our case studies page, because the purpose of a traffic campaign, of course, and this is me correcting myself, the purpose of a traffic campaign is to try and build context. So I want people to see this, click this, go to our website, see more about our case studies. They may not necessarily buy or do anything or even make an inquiry. That if they do that action and they spend some time on our case studies, and I can go after the people that are the top 5% of people who have spent time looking at our case studies, we can then run a retargeting ad to those people to say, hey, do you want to try our services? You spent some time looking at our services, we're really good, why not let's have a call? So I've developed that contextual relationship over time. Once you've done that, you got to make sure your pixel is set up and installed. If it's not installed, the tracking isn't as effective because the breadth of the tracking is not going to be as useful, which is very important and a very important need at this time, especially when it comes to things like landing page views, because that's the key metric. You want to know that a person has actually landed on your website, not a person who's just clicked a link from Facebook and not ended up even reaching your website yet. But aside of that, guys, we are done. All we do now is click review draft items. As you'll see, we have an error, cannot optimize for landing page views. I'm going to do it with the error for now, just for the sake of this tutorial. But once I've done that, we're good. We are set up, and that's how we run a traffic campaign inside of Facebook. So simple, so easy, so fast. Yeah.
Guys, I hope you found benefit from that session. Part 2 is coming in a week from now. Not sure when you watch this video, but if you haven't watched this video yet, part 2 will be available next week. Like every Tuesday is for beginners and every Thursday is for intermediate and advanced. If you found benefit from this video, tell somebody, share it with somebody, become a subscriber, and help me become the biggest YouTube channel for Facebook advertising in depth that can help businesses and help people really understand the nuances and the benefits that you can get when you're a really good Facebook advertiser and Facebook marketer. See you soon.